Today, on behalf of All India Council Human Rights, Liberties and Social Justice, National Council for News and Broadcasting, Safeguarding Children Seva Samiti Uttar Pradesh, Kaushaki Foundation Uttar Pradesh, International Human Rights Commission, Voices on the Mount, Africa, Ghana, we welcome Ms. Shauli Mukherjee to present her topic on need for reimagining education in 21st century under hashtag Innovative India Movement. Ms. Shauli Mukherjee has dedicated her life towards promotion of child-centric and activity-oriented education. Dr. Mukherjee has been founder principal of Adamas World School and STEM World School, the first STEM school in West Bengal. Dr. Mukherjee had actively contributed to the process of creating a personalized, stress-free curriculum for children of all age groups. She has been recipient of various awards like National Quality Excellence Award, Gem of India Award, Education Leadership Award, and many more. She is currently working as Director of School of Education and Dean of Students Affairs at Adamas University, Kolkata. We welcome you, ma'am, today.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction and a lovely, gesture on your side. Thank you.
Okay. So, ma'am, what are your views on current education system?
So, Kaushaki, let me start off by giving you two very important statistics on the outcome of the formal education system which is prevalent now. So, we see that after the completion of the formal education, that is the formal higher education, almost 50% and rather than more than 50% of the graduates don't even get a decent job. And employers would confirm that those who do manage to get the job, among them almost 80% are not skilled enough to retain that job.
Right.
And they have to be reskilled and they have to be reoriented on the job front.
True.
So if the current aim of the formal education system or the higher education system is to ensure at least a decent living after the completion of the education, then already we see that the education system is miserably failing. And there are various reasons for that. You see, the first reason being there is a widening gap between academia and industry expectations. So academia is increasingly failing to prepare the learners to meet the industry readiness, industry standards, and expectations. So what is happening is that the system is actually churning out more job seekers rather than more job creators.
True.
Then if you see the system of standardized testing, standardized testing is prevalent across all levels of education in the present day context. And that happens to be one of the most important and integral component of the learner's evaluation. But then we have to remember that the standardized testing relies heavily on conformity and compliance and does not give any kind of weightage or any kind of importance and value on the learner's creativity and innovation. The third reason being that, we have, this kind of a system which is very much prevalent in the educational front, that we always encourage the children when they all come up with the correct and right answer. But there is not a single exercise in the education system to encourage the children when they're able to come up with one correct question. So,
right, very truly.
Yes. So all these things actually point towards the fact that it is high time that we as educators and everybody in the educational fraternity should actually ask these difficult yet pertinent questions. That how far is the current educational system serving the needs and demands of the 21st century learners, who have to be holistically equipped to face the global complexities of an emerging workforce, ever emerging workforce. So I think we all have to ask this question, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Very truly explained, ma'am. And one more thing, you have very briefly told us, like today we are working on the hard skills, more of a hard skills and not on the soft skills. So, do you think in the coming years we need to enroll in our education system some soft skills also? Because we are facing that problem when it actually we land up to the real world.
Absolutely, yes, I do agree with the fact because giving too much importance on the technical aspect of education and not giving value and importance to the core competencies. Like I can state few examples. You see, right from the very childhood, we tend to instill in our children, whether as parents or as educators, that you have to compete and you always have to
Right.
come first, right? No matter what, whether it's in academics or sports and or in extracurricular activities, you always have to compete and you have to come first. So competition is
Okay.
something which is instilled in our children by us. But we often forget that collaboration and cooperation happens to be two most important life skills which are required to thrive in the 21st century world. So we give a lot of importance on competition, but we give very less weightage on collaboration and cooperation. So that is itself a kind of a fallacy which is embedded in our current educational system. And definitely coming to the soft skills, I would also like to say that giving too much of importance on IQ, intelligence quotient, and very less emphasis on EQ, that is emotional quotient. That how is a child, nurtured to express and manage his or her own emotions. That is also very, very important. And in fact, that is more important because research has proved that it is actually not IQ, it is EQ, which is
Thank you.
responsible for your long-term success in the real world. So that is exactly what,
Right.
our current educational system should nurture in our children.
Right. So, ma'am, there should be a stress management classes also, like as you have mentioned that we have to be on the emotional ground, also nurture the student and the children. So, do we require some emotional classes, depression, stress-free classes, or counseling sessions for the students in the coming years in the education? We need that.
We definitely do need that. And in fact, I would like to say that, the global pandemic to which we all have been a witness to, that has actually, that has brought about certain positive changes and impacts. And we have seen a lot of positive implications in the last 10 months, which we have also not
Right.
seen in the last 10 years. So there have been
True.
increasing focus and emphasis on life skills and mental health well-being. So that has gained ground right now. It is not so that it was not important earlier. It has always remained important, but we have not given that much importance on these important life skills. Consider the case of the
True.
pandemic where the children have learned and imbibed a lot of life skills in the sense that they have started valuing the importance of their family and their importance of their family members. They've started spending more time with their family members. They have started, understanding the needs and demands of people around them. The increasing need for socialization in this age of massive distraction and instant gratification. The children during this pandemic had actually learned what is the value and importance of socialization. That we do
Right.
need friends. We need people around us. We need our relatives. We need our near and dear ones to interact with them and to have a very meaningful and lasting relationships with them. I think the pandemic has taught these very important life skills to the young learners. And these kind of learning will, I am sure that they will be carrying it for the rest of the part of their lives, and that is going to impact the way in which they would view the relationships in days to come.
Very nicely explained, ma'am. Very nice. Okay, ma'am, is there a need to reimagine the education and learning for the 21st century teachers also?
Absolutely, yes, I would say. Because even, in the present context of the pandemic, what we have seen is that there has been a paradigm shift from teaching to learning. And I'm talking about the teachers. I'm talking about the enablers and the influencers who would be driving this major change. So already there has been a paradigm shift from teaching to learning, where the teachers have realized that they themselves have to be lifelong learners, and they have to continuously learn on a daily basis and have to be self-motivated learners themselves. And definitely after that, they have to instill that love and passion for lifelong learning in, in their students as well. Because 21st century teachers must, it's according to me, it's that they must provoke, they must engage and stimulate and facilitate that love for lifelong learning among the students, which is very, very important. And secondly, I would also like to say that one very important aspect is definitely collaboration. So pandemic has also taught the educators that we cannot continue working in silos. We need to collaborate. We need to collaborate. We need to exchange our ideas, visions, viewpoints, and learnings in order to enrich ourselves as educators or as human beings. And as the saying goes, and it rightly goes, that as teachers, the greatest resource that you can have is each other. Without collaboration, your growth is limited to your own perspective. So collaboration happens to be something which is very, very important. And additionally, I would also like to mention that, inquisitiveness and curiosity and the ability to challenge the status quo and to challenge all that which has become redundant, obsolete, and outdated. That is also a kind of a spirit which the teachers must inculcate in themselves in order to emerge and evolve as truly 21st century teachers.
Right, right. Very nicely explained. Now, moving to the next question, ma'am. Like you have said that teachers are required to change their pattern of teaching, and collaboration should be there. So, when we talk about collaboration, can you explain it briefly? Like, how can the teachers collaborate with the students, with the family engagement things? How can these things be happening in the coming years if you see the education system to be changed?
Even, in the last 10 to 11 months during the pandemic situation also, we have seen one very important positive dimension, and that is we have seen a lot of active parental involvement and support in the child's educational system. So, which was previously maybe not, it was not there in that.
It was missing. It was missing.
It was missing. So the parents have started, taking active interest, and they have been actively cooperating in the child's education right now, and I hope that will continue, because that will actually give a 360-degree view of the holistic education that we are actually talking about. Because only when all the important stakeholders come together on a collaborative platform, the child, the educator, the parent, the school management, the school leadership, and the community at large, when all the stakeholders, they come together on a collaborative platform, only then, the learning can be successful and the learning can be meaningful and effective. So collaboration is required in all aspects of education, be it on the educator's front or from the parents' perspective or from the school management and leadership's perspective. So it is very much required.
Right. So there is a three dimension connection between three of them, like student, teacher, and the parents, right? Okay. Okay. Now moving to the next question, ma'am. What are your views of changing the roles, like teachers? How can they change the way of teaching, delivering their messages, their education, their knowledge to the student? How, what curriculum they can follow, and that should be same for the each student, or it could be like vary from student to student according to their IQ and EQ level, like emotional and stress level they can handle. So that should be same, or that should be varying depending upon the student.
That should definitely not be same. Because if we consider all children are different, you see, they're all born with unique blueprints, right? So they're unique individuals and they have their uniqueness and originality along with them. The problem happens when we start to consider them as, you know, on a uniform platform. And the problem, this is also one of the, fallacies in the educational system, that we tend to teach the children the same content in the same manner and on the same day. And we expect that the children will be learning the same thing on the same day, in the same way. So that is the
Right.
greatest fallacy. You know, it cannot happen because all children are unique, all children are different. So there has to be a personalized curriculum. And obviously, I would also like to state that there is an increased, deliberation, discussion, and debate on stress in education. So even the smaller children would now, they are acquainted with the term stress. They would say that I'm stressed out. You know, previously when we had been children, we never knew what was the meaning of the
Right.
word stress. So we cannot blame our children. You know, there is stress, no doubt about that. But we have to understand what is producing that stress. Curriculum or content will never produce stress. What produces stress is your methodology of teaching. So if your methodology
Right.
of teaching is kind of, bordering on rote learning, excessive memorization, too much importance on standardized testing, learning completely dissociated with real life context, learning only for, passing the tests and, passing the standardized testings. If this happens to be the aim of education and if your methodology is suited to that kind of a context, then definitely it would produce a lot of stress among the children. So definitely teachers have to take cognizance of the view and, along with, I also feel very passionately about it, that along with intelligence quotient and emotional quotient, the teachers also should strive to nurture the other kinds of quotients. Like there are certain very important quotients which need to be developed in our children, like the happiness quotient, the passion quotient, the social and the spiritual quotient, and especially
Right.
what we have all gone through in the last 10, 11 months, adversity quotient. How to deal with the uncertainties of life, how to deal with the adversities of life. These are also of equal importance. I mean, when a teacher is teaching or a teacher is educating, then education has to be, on all these, development of all these quotients, not only emphasizing on intelligence quotient or IQ.
Right. Ma'am, you have very nicely explained that spiritual education should also be enrolled in the coming years because that develop the student morally and ethically also on many grounds. So very nicely explained. And one more thing, ma'am, when we talk about changing the system of education curriculum and the needs of student as per their requirements. So as I have already asked you, soft skill, when we talk about soft skills, so should they be also be a part as a grade, giving a grade when it comes to a percentage level? Because we are only considering the hard skill and giving them grades on them. So when we talk about spiritual level and other dimensions also, so should they also be graded to to morally support the student that okay, this is also been a part of their regular exercise now.
Yes. It is more important for making people realize that it is very important. But the gradation system is something which, even on a personal level, I also don't approve of. Be it for hard skills or for soft skills. So, merely to secure a grade or to get a very good grade in one particular dimension, then the children are geared towards understanding that I am only doing this to pass the grade or to get a good grade. So even this gradation system is something which I don't personally approve of. But having said so, hard skills and soft skills both should have equal emphasis in the curriculum. Like the 21st century soft skills, which are very much required for the learners: collaboration, communication, critical thinking skills, creativity, innovation, problem solving, decision making. These are very, very analytical skills. So when you're faced with a problem, how do you solve that? Or what are the critical thinking qualities that you actually bring to the fore in order to solve those issues? Do you get easily swayed, or do you get easily stressed out, or do you have a very calm mind towards analyzing each and every dimension and then going about solving them? So these are very important skills, and they should have equal, if not more, emphasis in the current educational system, rather than the so-called hard skills or the technical skills.
True. Ma'am, you being a principal and a dean of a big university, so what challenges you see in the like teachers are facing and you face in your daily life? Can you just elaborate them?
Uh, Kaushaki, I have a actually different perspective on the same. I always think that potential and great opportunities often come in your life in the guise of challenges. So I won't say that challenges are not there. They're definitely there. But it's up to us to surpass those challenges, overcome them, and to turn them into opportunities. And
Opportunity.
what better example can I give you than the present context of the pandemic? So it has come as a very big challenge to the entire humanity, right? But consider the educational sector, and especially the teachers, the educators, the school management, leadership, entire educational fraternity, how they have, risen up to face the challenge, and they have reskilled themselves, upskilled themselves, and big kudos to all of them that they have emerged as better versions of themselves. So challenges
Right.
are definitely there. If the teachers are having, challenges in terms of coping up with the technological advancements, of course they need to be upskilled, because there are no two ways about it. Because there has been a very interesting question, asked to me a few years back, that, ma'am, do you think that technology will actually replace the teachers? So even then I said that technology will never and can never replace the teachers, because of the human and the soft touch that the teacher brings along with him or her. But having said so, I have always believed that the teachers who are technologically advanced will definitely replace the teachers, those who are not.
Right. Exactly. As we have seen in one school in Bangalore, there is a remote robot who is taking the classes, but along with that, one teacher is also present. So you have explained it very nicely that technology can never overcome and replace the teachers in personal, in regular teaching. So one more question here, like as we have seeing that right now the classes are going on Zoom and many other apps. So when the things get normal to the normalized thing, then do you think that will impact the regular classes and how the things will go back to the neutral thing? Like all things will come to the natural, same things, same classes, same classroom, teachers, and the playground, all the things being same. So what and how much time it will take to get back to the normal position?
Yeah. So I think we all have spent months creating a new normal for us as well as for our children in the last few months, in the last 10, 11 months. So this is a very vital question, Kaushiki, that after spending months doing something so very different, and after the virtual interaction to which our children have been exposed to, where almost at a single click of a button, the entire world sort of opened up in front of them, along with endless possibilities. Should our children be now back under the same old, obsolete system when once institutions have started reopening? So that's a very big question. I think we all should ask ourselves. And I personally on my front, I would say that I see a lot of opportunities in terms of hybrid learning model coming up, where there will be a perfect blend of online and offline teaching and learning ecosystem. And that is the need of the hour, because even during the pandemic, what we have realized that there are certain things which cannot be done in a better way or in a proper way in an online mode, like the games and sports, like the personal touch
Right.
that a teacher brings, which is so very, very important and which a child looks up to, you know, and that's socialization. So these are the things which have been compromised. And these are the things which can never happen in a very, in a better way, in
The
a
virtual world,
virtual mode or in the online mode. So for that, we definitely require that offline interactions. And at the same time, the time has also proved that there are certain things which can be done in an excellent fashion in an online mode, you know. So the personalized learning, anytime, anywhere learning, synchronous and asynchronous learning. So all these things can be done in a much better fashion in an online mode. So now that we have realized that what are the things that can be done in a better way in an offline mode, and what are the things that can be done in a better way in an online mode. So now we are in a position to create that perfect blend of online and offline, which I see as the future of education.
Right. Okay, ma'am, what last message you want to give to the teachers? How should they change their way of teaching? Like every teacher is special. They have their personal way of teaching, and everyone have their knowledge to give it to the student. But still, there are some things like being on a position of principal. You must be seeing some modifications required. So, what aspects you think that they should work on?
Very specifically, I would like to say that there is one thing which I think all the teachers should keep in mind, and that is the intense passion. Without passion, you cannot continue in this profession. And I think these different times, I don't call it difficult times, I call it different times. These different times have actually proved that without intense passion, dedication, commitment, and conviction, you're not supposed to be in the teaching profession, first of all. Secondly, you must realize that teaching is not a mechanical task of content or knowledge transfer. I may be a storehouse of knowledge. I may have triple PhDs, but that does not qualify me for being a teacher. I may be a very big repository of knowledge and content, but for being a teacher, we have to understand that it is a very, very sophisticated and creative profession where the teachers are the facilitators, enablers, and influencers who regularly, motivate, engage, and provoke that love for learning among the students. So these are the basic things that I think anybody who wants to aspire to be teachers, they must all remember, because in my present role as the director of School of Education, I'm handling almost on a daily basis, the student teachers, those who all are aspiring to be teachers. And they're all aspiring to be 21st century teachers. I keep on telling them on a regular basis. But if you do not have that passion, do not come to this profession. There are so many other professions you'll go to. But do not come to the teaching profession if you're not committed and if you do not know what is your long-term purpose and vision. Because anybody who aspires to be a teacher, it's not the tag which is important. What you do on a daily basis, the kind of intention, the kind of motivation, and the kind of commitment that you put into your daily work, that counts. And nothing will come overnight. I mean, there is no overnight success for a teacher, you see, because it takes a lot of time. Because only when you have nurtured a child, but only when the child grows up and moves back and thinks that it was because of that teacher that today I know the value of a particular thing. So then your success comes, then your fulfillment comes. So it will not come on an immediate basis. So do not look for, an immediate success or an overnight success. If you're looking for all these things, there are so many other professions wherein you can try, but definitely not the teaching profession.
Exactly. It is not a temporary job. It is a permanent, I think, requirement of a teacher to, deliver the best of the best knowledge to the student. Okay. Now, the last question of today's session, ma'am, how can one contact you for further guidance if they require any student, teacher, or anyone who require your counseling sessions? So how can they contact you, and are you available? What are your links to get back to
Yes,
you?
I am pretty much, I think, active on LinkedIn. I'm also there on Instagram. So these are the social media platforms where I'm available in. And apart from that, currently I'm associated with the Adamas University as Director of School of Education and Dean of Student Affairs. So that is my current affiliation. But subsequently, additionally, I'm associated with premier educational organizations, both across India as well as globally in senior advisory capacities and roles. So anybody who is willing to get in touch with me for professional reasons, I would be so happy to be a part of their educational initiatives and endeavors and to add significant value. I would definitely recommend LinkedIn. I'm very much active on LinkedIn.
Okay. Definitely, ma'am, definitely. Thank you so much for today's session, ma'am. It was very great to have you and your special time for all the students and teachers. And even I learned a lot of things today. So thank you so much for joining and taking out your special time for us.
Thank you so much, Kaushaki. It has been a real pleasure because these are the topics which are so very close to my heart, and reimagining education and learning. So it had really been a pleasure interacting with you and sharing the viewpoints with the viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. #InnovativeIndia आपको नमस्ते करता है. Thank you so much.
Thank you.